How are we, folks? Welcome back to the Nightmare Cabin. I'm carrying on the Morbid Angel series. This has gone on a lot longer than I anticipated, and I didn't want to leave a big gap this time. Last week, the Nocturnus video was massively delayed, so this is going to be a nice, short and sweet one because we've only got two albums to talk about. We're going to be talking about Warfather, one of the best death metal bands you've probably never heard. A lot of people, these albums pass by for some reason, and we're going to get into it now. Like I said, this is a series. If you're new to the channel, I do Let's Talk About, where I go through a band's whole catalogue. I started off with Morbid Angel and decided to carry on doing all the members' side projects, spin-off bands. So we went through Hate Eternal, we went through Internecine. Last week we did Nocturnus, and now we're doing Steve Tucker's other project, Warfather. So I did mention his past band as well, Ceremony, in the Morbid Angel video. So Steve did 3 albums with the band. He did the fantastic Formulas Fatal to Flesh, the incredibly underrated Gateways to Annihilation. Left the band briefly. Jared Anderson steps in. Unfortunately, he never records an album with Morbid Angel, though I think it would have been awesome if he did. He's also doing Hate Eternal with Eric, and he has his own project, Internecine, on the side, which we've covered. If you're new to the channel, this is your first one, go back and watch them as well. It's all there for you. So Steve then comes back into the band, and they do Heretic, and they do that as a 3-piece. After that, Steve leaves again. That's when David Vincent comes back. And then big reunion tour. And then we have the debacle of Illud Venus, Ilios Santanos, Anus, whatever the fuck that album was called. Less the said about that, the better. And at the time, I was thinking, well, I quite liked Steve Tucker, and I feel pretty vindicated at the moment because everyone was saying, David Vincent was the better vocalist and all the rest of it. I don't really care for that debate. I think both individuals bring something unique to the table. So that wasn't really the problem. It was just that album was objectively bad. And I say in the Morbid Angel video as well, I think David Vincent was thrown under the bus there. I think he was a bit of a scapegoat. Album wasn't his fault. Anyway, so that was around. The stench of that album was in the air. Morbid Angel was still touring. They were still doing good live. They were doing two songs off that album on the tour, and they were the two better songs. And then they were doing the tour where they were doing Covenant in full. Then I remember it clearly to this day. I was actually at my mum's house. We'd gone round there for dinner, and I was just flicking through Blabbermouth, or it might have been Facebook on my phone. Ex-Morbid Angel, Steve Tucker, announced his new project, Warfather, and I was fucking stoked. And and that was this first album here. Let's get the both albums have got fantastic artwork by a very talented artist. I believe he's from Ireland, Ken Coleman. Apparently, that there is actually Ken's grandmother. He actually incorporated a photo of his nan in there, which I thought was a stroke of genius. He got a really good, better view of the artwork there. So it's like Mother Nature receding over Earth. It's a concept album as well, actually, which is cool. About the apocalypse. And it all goes full circle. I'll let you dive deeper. But yeah, this is an absolutely fantastic album. It's starts off kind of with familiar enough territory. It's sort of, it's the guy from Morbid Angel in a new project. But this first album is just perfectly... Everything's just woven together nicely. The pummeling riffs, pummeling drums, shredding, just that mechanical what's the word I'm trying to look for? Just that precision in the songs. But what's great about this is that everything is laced with melody as well. Everything's got plenty of hooks. There's plenty of harmonies and leads, and it just keeps everything moving, keeps everything interesting, and you're just engaged all the way through. There's some great lead work in there as well, all the way, just scattered all through the songs. Everything is just perfectly paced, perfectly thought out. My Queen Shall Not Be Moaned. What a title. And that track is worth the admission price alone. It's got this like, you know, it's got that brilliant, that familiar Morbid Angel feel to it, and then you know, and then when it kicks in, and then like when the chorus isn't as much of a chorus, but it just kicks in about halfway through with this orchestration, like these operatic vocals. And then there's just this riff that it's like I don't know if it's a riff or a solo, really, what you would call it, but it goes like over this fucking punishing music with this orchestral vocals over the top. So you've got this like operatic thing going on, and then with this beautiful lead going over the top of it all, and then that comes back into the song later on and rings the song out. It's just absolutely amazing. The chaos off as well, brilliant solo work on that. It's just blistering. You know, you've got the brutality of death metal, but the atmosphere's sort of just in the songs. It's just the shifting poles is another great example as well. But the atmosphere, just everything is just perfectly just orchestrated one. I would say, you know, as much as this, if you love Morbid Angel, you definitely get this if you've not got it. But even, you know, if you like Nile, that's another obvious point. But yeah, like think Behemoth, like later albums of Behemoth, of Septic Flesh, someone like that. Definitely check this out. And then I think it was about 3 years, I think. I remember for a couple of years. I mean, this was, I don't know if it was my album of the year, but this was definitely in my top 10 of 2014. I was really glad to see Steve back on the scene, doing what he does best. And again, it totally justified my thing that I thought Steve Tucker was a really underrated vocalist, and I thought he did a great, you know, he contributed massively to Morbid Angel, and that album proved it. And it was just like, well, look what you're up against, you know. And well, it seems like Trey thought the same as me, because a few years down the line, I'm on a night shift, and I'm walking around, and I'm on my phone as usual, flicking through Blabbermouth, and bang. Had it been announced? Yeah, no, it hadn't announced that the band had split. But no, it's official. Steve Tucker is now back in Morbid Angel. I was like, fuck. And yeah, dead chuffed. Like, right, everything's coming back together. And I was thinking, it must be off the back of that Warfather album. It's got to be. So anyway, I was lucky enough to get Steve Tucker on the metal show with Gully and Joe. And we interviewed him just before the second album came out, The Grey Eminence. That's Ken Coleman's fantastic artwork again. I can't figure this thing out. It's either on too bright with a glare or... Yeah, it looks shit. Hold on. Right, let's try that again. But close up, there is massive detail in there, and I think that's going to be worthy of a vinyl purchase one day. So I managed to speak to Steve on the release of this album. I interviewed the drummer as well, and and big thing as well, Eric Rutan produced the second at this album, and this definitely has the Eric Rutan treatment. We'll get to that in a minute. And yeah, like Steve explained at the time, you know, he was going to carry on Warfather because he went, you know, Morbid Angel, that's Trey's baby, Warfather is his. And what's most notably as well, Steve's playing guitar on this and is the main songwriter, if not the only songwriter. Let's have a quick look. Try and get that artwork in there as well. It's really not picking up. It's really good. It's one of those album covers that the more you look at it, the more you. Let's have a look. I can't see any writing credits, and I'm rushing. That's awesome. That's a T-shirt on its own. This second album, though, very different. Yes, there's melody and harmony in the songwriting, but none of the obvious orchestration or the standout melodic leads. Although there is some blistering solo work, I think you get what I mean. But this is much more in the Hate Eternal vein. This one is just pummeling, absolute punishing all the way through. There's slower pace songs here and there, but it's nothing like the first one with the big orchestrations, the melodies. This one just goes straight for the jugular and doesn't let go. It's a punishing listen. It's much more straightforward, but it's a no nonsense album. But it's still got that quality, and it still has that atmosphere. So you got two very different albums, but both equal in terms of quality. What do I do with that one? So this one, lots of not experimentation, but a lot more variety and much more melodic. This one is all about riffing, shredding, much more punishing, much more straightforward. I'm not too sure about song. This one, like All the Sort of Horde is a good song, and the Dawning Inquisition. But to be honest, this isn't really about standout tracks. It's just a great listen. You've got to listen to this all the way through. It's 50 minutes in total, but it just gels together really nicely. But yeah, absolutely two fantastic albums, and I will always have nothing but respect for Steve Tucker. And yeah, these albums prove that he wasn't just in the right place in the right time when it comes to joining Morbid Angel. And it's got to be said, Ken Coleman did the artwork on the new Morbid Angel album as well. I mean, yeah, look, same artist, Eric Prutan producing, joins again, same artist. I'm sure he saw these albums and went, yeah, I need to grab him again. But this is the problem, and I love Morbid Angel. If you want to say Morbid Angel are the greatest death metal band, bold statement, but I wouldn't particularly argue with you. Maybe Immolation, maybe Death. I don't know. It's too close to call. But the fact of the matter is, both these albums, both of them, kick this album's arse. This it's not a contest. They're 10 times better than it. And if these had Morbid Angel on the front cover, they'd be fucking huge. That's the problem with it all. But there you go. But don't get me wrong. It's not that I don't like this album. It just want to patch on them. It was as simple as that. I was really excited for this off the back of these albums, and when this came out, it was just like, yeah. But it is good. Don't get me wrong. It is a good album. But I feel this was a bit of a palate cleanser. This was a case of Damage Control, and they needed to follow it up with something a bit more wider in terms of spectrum of sound to follow it up. I thought this bring out something like with a, something a bit brutal to sort of, we're back, and then follow it up. They should have followed it up 2-3 years later with a maybe like 2019, just put out another one that was a bit more like formulas, where there was a lot of going on musically, bring back the melodic stuff, bring back those weird instrumentals, open things up again. But this one was just more, it was just straight knuckle down death metal. But yeah, definitely, if you've not heard them, both these albums are absolutely fantastic, and you've got to get them in your collection. So yeah, if you like Immolation, you like a bit of you like Nile, you like Hate, Morbid Angel. But if you like, bit of melody, bit of orchestration, bit of variety in there, bit of Behemoth maybe, then that's the one you want. But if you like it a bit more punishing, a bit more technical, in the vein of Hate Eternal or Christian or something like that, definitely check this one. It's got some slower, sort of dirgy, grindy sort of numbers on there as well. So it's all nicely paced. But yeah, definitely check. These are definitely worth your time. I'm starting to repeat myself now, so I'm going to wrap it up, I think. But yeah, Warfather, definitely. I think this is pretty much it for the Morbid Angel series now. I've got to do Terrorizer, haven't I? So we'll do Terrorizer next. That won't be this week, though. I'm actually interviewing Thomas from At the Gates on Thursday. So I'm burning all the old albums onto my phone to sort of get reacquainted, and I'm listening to the new album as well. It's an interesting listen. I'll give you a heads up there, any At the Gates fans. So yeah, if I'm going to be listening to all these in order to do an interview on Thursday, next video, I might as well just do an At the Gates, let's talk about, and then we'll do Terrorizer afterwards. So yeah, I didn't want to leave a big gap, especially where it was only 2 albums, so it's a bit short and sweet. But yeah, I didn't want to leave it another week or whatever like I did the last one. Maiden Cast will be back Friday, as usual. So yeah, thanks for watching. Give us one of them if you enjoyed it. And yeah, if you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. And if not, you know why you're here. It's the Nightmare Cabin. So, see you all next time. Thanks for watching. Take care.